Okay. So anyway, so basically, we're going to at this point discontinue the Wix site because one of the things I don't like, as we've said, is it's very. I don't like the way it's set up. Basically, it's hard to figure out when you're on it. Like you gotta, the forums are in a whole nother. They're not on the main page. You got to go to a whole nother page on the site, and I just don't like the way the site flows, and the chat is very hard to use, and it doesn't have push notifications. So, and I'm not getting any notifications at all. You have to set you have to go to your Gmail and set it up a certain way, and it's too much. So we decided to whack that out of it. We're not going to use Band because Band, we found out that those pages, that was one of the reasons we wanted to use it, because it had pages that we thought, well, we could use that as a website. Well, each page you have to join it separately and independently, so it becomes like little mini websites. So it's really kind of ridiculous the way they set that up. So it's kind of like too much for people to, if you're going to start having pages and things, and it's not, there's no real good way to do that, and there were some other things too as well. So all things being equal, we never were going to leave Discord anyway. So, but Discord's a much better app. The video, audio, quality, ability is much better. So at this point, we're not going to use Band either. We're just going to use Discord for all of our all-purpose chatting, which we're pretty much already doing anyway. So it's not a big change. I know when I want to get a hold of you guys, I'm going to Discord, just like kind of what we were doing with Telegram. Although Telegram is, again, good app, has a lot of strong things, but just not really something that ultimately is going to work. But this works. But what I was able to do, and you'll see it now in the forums here, I have an old Blogger site. Good old Blogger. Blogger's been around since 1999. It was a Google product. One of the few Google products that lasted there. You think I end sites a lot. You should see Google. Google has axed more of their programs than any other site there ever was. I mean, the best thing that Google had was Google Plus. Back in the day, you could create groups, communities, video chat, everything in there. I mean, this is like mid 2000s, and it was, everybody loved it. You could grow. It's kind of like it's kind of like this, but it was different. Anyway, they got rid of it. They got rid of all their really good programs, and then they kept like their old groups, which were the old Google groups. It was so archaic that you literally had to go and get a URL of a photo to post photos, that you couldn't upload it from your computer. I mean, it was just archaic. And up to about, I think about a year ago, they still had that, but they got rid of all their other great products. But they kept Blogger, which is basically a one-page website that you create blogs, and well, they have HTML, which is amazing. So I was able to put the Discord widgets in there, and people can cross over from. What we're going to do is use the Blogger for FeedSpot. I know you guys are thinking, when are we going to ever get FeedSpot going? You've talked about it for like 6 months. Uh, well, actually, tomorrow, hopefully. I'm going to be signing up for FeedSpot, and we'll get it going. But we're going to use Blogger because you got to have a URL like a website for feeds. You feed that into FeedSpot, and then what happens is when you suggest your article or your blog, it basically it pulls up our website so that we get that traffic to our website. So it'll come to Blogger, and once people come on Blogger, they join it like they would any other website. But then they can also click on and go to Discord right from the app. So it's cool. But if they become a member of Blogger, I can also communicate with them via, Gmail or Google because it's a Google product. So I can, if they join with Google, I can actually just connect with them right on Google and get them into Discord. So it's a great way for us to build and have that without having to have a whole website that you have to design and run. It just doesn't make any sense to do two different things right now. We can barely do one. So let's just do Discord. And Blogger will just be for FeedSpot, basically, and to have more content. I mean, that content I'm going to, as you see in the forums, I've added 3 posts already, I think. I'm not going to post everything on here, but we are going to start posting on here some from there. So you'll be able to either you don't even well, if you wanted to go to the Blogger site, you can, but or you can just catch them on the forums. So basically, what I'm trying to do, what I'm trying to say is, I've come to this conclusion: if you're going to use Discord, you kind of got to be all in because otherwise it doesn't work. I thought maybe we could use it for events and then run like another website for everything else. I just don't see that as a path to that would do any good because with what I found this weekend is I was toying around on Discord and I started going into the membership and just messaging people, not inviting them to anything, not trying to get them to come to a Bible study, just hi, how you doing? Is there anything we could pray about for you? Are you still with us? Are you still a part of the server? And I had several people say, yeah, I think so. Or yeah, I am. So we had 8 out of the 10, I would say maybe 10 people that that I contacted. Maybe I did more. I don't know. I would say I got a response from several people. So we still have a good little group of people on here. Um, but with Discord, you have to build relationships with these people. You can't just, we haven't been on a lot, so you can't just go send them, a random post to join something and expect them to come to it. So it's going to take some relationship building and so on. And that's what I'm going to be doing over the next, however, to try to get, and then inviting them to the events. Um, Once people see that we're actually back on and we're connecting with them again, they'll start paying attention to when we're live, and then they'll start coming in on their own, or especially if we're chatting. Another thing with Discord is the way Discord works is when you post in the general, that's the default channel. It's like when you throw chum out on the water and the fish come and they start feasting on it. When you post, it's like you're throwing the chum out on the water. Now, that's I challenge you to find a Giphy for that one. Find a Giphy for that. But yeah, I mean, me and my brother, we'd go fishing and we would throw breadcrumbs in the water, and the fish will come to it. If you're in the ocean, sharks will come to it. No, you don't want the sharks. But so, in other words, you just got to be chatting on here. It's like any site, but the more you chat on here, and I noticed that there was some There you go. All right. Jaws. Hey, Jaws. That's a funny story. When that movie came out, I was probably like around 10 years old. The first Jaws, and we weren't allowed to watch it. It was my parents thought it was too, morbid, and with the legs being eaten and all. So we weren't able to watch it. And now I think back on it, I'm like, geez, that was nothing compared to the movies that are out now. But anyway, um, it's amazing how we get off on all these different subjects. That's what real chat is. I've said that for years. Chat should just be kind of like when we would have the best chat is when we were just talking and people would share different experiences, different things. And we really started out in chat, just being a chat, not really even ministering as much as chatting with people, getting to know people. And that's how we grew, and I think we kind of got away from that. Now we just kind of want to broadcast. There's nothing wrong with that, but if I was asking Game Warrior if you guys have, as an admin, if you have access to all the members, and if you do, if you know anybody, some of you might not know the people. Like sometimes they change their names and you don't know who they are. I've actually added some people back that were like trolls and I didn't know it. And then I'm like, oh man, I added you back. It's like when you, it's like that's like catching a scorpion or something on your fishing line, and you're like, oh man, you're gonna sting me now. So yeah, I had to actually one person. I had this. I realized that this person was somebody that I had banned because of some things, and then that we added them back, and so now it's just like kind of quickly ban them again. But if you know somebody, if you or if you want to, reach out to people, but you don't know who, ask me and I'll help you. I'll throw some names your way. Um, or just randomly message people. That's what Andrew and I were going to do. He was going to help me just go through. But what I'm in the process of doing is eliminate. We have a lot of people that left the server, so I'm going through and you can re-invite people back, and that is a way to get people to come back. I think we do that first. We go through the server. If people aren't there anymore, they're not a part of it. We'll get rid of those contacts and you know kind of strip it down to where we know what we have and who we have to work with. We spent what 4 years on here? Is it 4 years now? Wow, I can't even remember. But that's a lot of time and a lot of investment in people. We don't want that to just go to the wayside. So I think we need to work through that. Try to build, even if we get 10 people back and they're a part of the group and they're coming to the services and they're interacting with us, and that would be huge. I mean, we got to start small and build. So I think we do that. And then, again, FeedSpot should start, hopefully, we start getting some new people from that as people read our blogs. Because, like, I get in my email every day, I get a FeedSpot email, and it has suggestions of about 10 different articles from 10 different websites. I mean, big sites like Christian Post, Christian Herald, Christian News, whatever, the big ones. And then there's some little ones. But when you open it up, it goes to their website. So if you have a blogger site like we would have, you can set it up so that they have to join it to read the article, and then that would be even better because you might get people that would just come and read it, but they don't want to join it, and then you got to give them an incentive to join it if they want to. Some websites do this, and I don't know if you could set this up on Blogger this way, but it would probably. I just thought of that as we're talking today. I never thought about how people can just browse a site and read the article if they were interested in it and then leave without even saying anything, and then you would never get the benefit of having them in your group or whatever. I mean, ideally, what I would like to do is test the water and see if you can post a Discord post on there and just have the invite link or something. I don't know how that would work. See, with Discord, it's a little different because it's not really a website. It is I don't know what you would call it, an app that you have to join it through Discord in order to get to our server. So it's not really like a direct URL. You know what I mean? Like Slack and all of that. So I don't really know how it would work. I don't know if I could just put it on there but then they would have to join our server in order to get to the article, which would be good because then we're getting, if they're really interested in reading the article, then it would be easy for them to join Discord group and then they would be redirected right into the forums and then they could read the post. Because actually, if you sent them the forum, I'm trying to think this through as we talk. If you if you sent them the forum, you can actually share the forum itself. Like I can post like Discord and Blogger. You can let's see if I pull that up. I'm trying to think here. Oh, I didn't want to do that. There's a copy link. I wonder what that is. Okay, that works. So that's a link, URL link that links back into. Now if they're already on Discord, which I would say 7 out of 10 people are already on Discord. That's how many people use it. It's very popular. So let's just say they already have a Discord account. They're going to go right in here, and then they can join the server. And they're already on Discord, so they don't have to actually join Discord itself. They'll just join the server here. I don't know how that works. If you invite somebody to our server, they just join. If they've never joined Discord, they have to create a Discord account first, or do they just, when they sign up for the server, they automatically join Discord in the server at the same time? How does that work? I don't even know. Like, that's confusing to me. Anybody know? But anyway, we'll figure it out. But so that's basically, if this worked, this would be perfect because they would have to join our Discord server in order to read our post, which means we would have them now as a part of our group. But I'm pretty sure Blogger, I'll have to test it out. I'm pretty sure with Blogger, you have to join it in order to read the post. I'm pretty sure. So if Blogger acts that way, then we just use Blogger as the website and drawing people there, and then they would have to join it. Then I would have them. I could just, once they're on Blogger, I can communicate with them through Google or whatever, and I can get them onto Discord, and from there they can be added to the group. That's what we'll try to do it that way. That makes sense. But anyway, we'll see. I got to figure that out. I'm not sure how it works. I mean, to be honest with you, I mean, I assume if somebody is not already on, if you're inviting somebody to our group, to our server, they're going to join Discord. They're going to create their profile. And I think once they're done with that, then they'll be redirected to our group. And then they'll just come into the group. And then they'll be able to have their profile already. Because they would have to have a profile and a name in order to access any server. But because it's redirecting them to our server, then that's how it would work. But if they're already on Discord, they already have a profile. I think what it would do is it would just give them the option to join it, and they would just click join, and then they'll be in. That simple. So that's how it would work, I'm pretty sure. So anyway, if that is the case, then we'll be able to use Discord for that collection of people that we were talking about, that getting the group together from all different places. Like if we're going to go live on Wednesday nights and we get, like, say, 5 people on Wire Club, or, the follow up is going to be the key, because every week we're having people that we're, getting, maybe one or two or three or four or whatever, and that adds up in a month. You might have 20 people, but if you're not doing the follow up, which we're not, it's not anybody's fault. I think we got to figure it out, right? We got to organize that out, how we're going to do it. It's hard because we're on different sites. Now, Wire Club's a different animal altogether, because you kind of have to be on Wire Club more than we are. Imagine if we were on Wire Club every day. I mean, every time we do a live stream in just an hour, we're getting 5 or 6 people, whether they're coming in and leaving, or they're just, maybe they don't want to watch the stream. But if we were just in there chatting, who knows how many people we could actually get. I mean, it is something to think about. What I would really like to do, and I've talked about this and I haven't been able to seem to get it together yet, is get with Will Girl and Natalia. And Goldie has been weird. I don't know what's going on with her. I know that she was kind of not feeling good there. Maybe she's got some physical issues, but she has not responded to me like she used to. And ever since I started doing the live stream on there, I noticed that, I don't know if maybe she got, I don't know. I don't know what's going on with her, but I haven't been able to really connect with her much. And Dan, he was coming in there the first couple of weeks too, and then he stopped coming in. And again, don't know much about that. I'm going to try to reach out to both of them. Um, I don't think Dan's going to be somebody that would come in and help, because he does his own things on there and whatnot. But if we can get a few people that will run the the uh, the, the chat room for us, that would be willing to do that, and then of course we would have to come in there too. We couldn't just say, "Here, run it," and we'll just do the live streams. But if I mean, if we could just try to work with some people and see if we can get it going, and then maybe once, I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud here. I just think that Warrior Club has potential, but I know that it's not going to grow very much unless you have something steady. It's like anything, you have to put the time in. You have to, but it's like, the question is, do we want to do that? Are we willing to do that? I don't know, to be honest with you. I would rather, if somebody's already on Wire Club and that's their main thing. If we can help, if maybe they don't have the ability to get people, but if we have a chat room on there that's already starting to get people, and maybe they'd be willing to run it, and then I can make an appearance on there whenever to try to help it. I mean, I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud. I would like to see what could happen with that. Um, but it's a time investment, and I guess it's we have to look at what's producing fruit and what isn't. You know, I mean, we've been on Missoula. Sounds like an Italian dish, Missoula. We're having Missoula. John was. We used to have a pasta dish, a family dish. I thought my grandma created, but then I found out no, she got the recipe out of a magazine like years ago. But it was called John Mazzulli. But it was like elbow macaroni with hamburger, tomatoes, like marinara sauce. So it was like a Mazzano, baby. John Mazzulli. I looked it up one day, and it was like some restaurant in Ohio had invented it, and it looked like the same recipe. And I'm like, wow, because I also had navy bean, not navy beans. I had like baked beans in it. I don't know. It was weird, but it was good. But anyway, Missoula is not really doing very much. I don't know how you could get more out of that. Um, you can save friends on there. Maybe if we were to go on there on Wednesdays too and see if that doesn't, or maybe create like a live thing where, or going, we've never really gone in the lobby and just posted anything like you could do it. And we used to do that in Cosme. They don't let you put links in there anymore. But if we could do something maybe to try to spark that, who knows? It's hard to do it because, we're on so many different places. Cosme's always been something that we've gotten people from, but it's just getting it all together and setting it up. It's not hard to set it up. It takes like 2 minutes. You just post the video in there and watch. It's like fishing. It really is. I'm a fisherman. I've fished my whole life. You put the bait out and you wait. That's what fishing is. We're fishing for souls. Jesus said we're fishers of men. Well, actually, we're doing that by putting it out there on these different sites. And you never know. It's just like fishing. You never know when that person's going to come along. Yeah, I think some of these sites are getting deader and deader as we talk, and so um, that could be a problem going forwards for those types of sites. But I think too, I'm talking to Andy about. He seems to be more interested in Discord than anything, and I think I can get him back on here, and we can try to get some bots maybe going for like inviting people and see what we can do. I wanted to mention that I talked to one of the other Christian servers that I was a part of, and that guy told me that at about the same time that our server went dead, his did too. He said all of a sudden it just dropped off, and that was no coincidence. I believe they did something in their settings at Discord. I don't think they did it like just with our Christian servers. I'm not saying that, but I think they did tweak something because they were having problems with bots and not bots because they have bots, with trolls and people that were hacking in and doing things. So they tried to cut down on that. And it is a problem. Spam and all that is a problem for these types of sites. So I think they probably tightened it up. And so now it's harder to get random people. Those darn trolls ruin everything. They ruined Yahoo chat. But back in the day when Yahoo was bopping, now Yahoo, all it is they have news. Man, Yahoo had we talked about it. They had the messenger. They had everything. They were the it. They were the Facebook before Facebook. They were, Google before Google. And they had it all, but then they didn't have the ability to handle. Those were bots, the spyware and all that was coming in, and it ruined it. So I know what can happen in chat rooms and things. So I know they got to do things. But when they did that, they must have done something, because then all of a sudden, but Google and Facebook, they all do it where they they just cut, they just change the algorithm so that you no longer get any of your posts go out anywhere. You're just like, you're not reaching anybody. You get maybe like 5 of the same people every day that get your posts. It's the same thing on Facebook. And they've been doing it for years. And they control content that way. But, and I do think they singled out on Facebook. They did single out Christians and conservative. That's a fact. Because of the posts people were, that, they say, I was in Facebook jail. I got suspended or whatever. But anyway, so we talked about possibly starting another server, maybe changing the name to like maybe JC Entertainment or something, and just use it to run like games, movie nights, and things, and try to build it, see what happens. Maybe that would open up. Still keep this one. Don't We wouldn't do away with this one. This one would still be for like our Bible study nights and things and whatnot, reaching out, whatever. But maybe doing something else and having like more people come in through that, um, to test it out and see if we're not being flagged, or but I don't know how that works. If they flagged our ISPN, it wouldn't matter what name you do it under, it would still be flagged. So I don't know. I don't know that it is. I really don't. But it's just weird that a lot. I'm sure if I talk to other small servers, they tell me the same thing. But I think that's why a lot of times you see these servers, they go up and then they die out after about a year, because it's hard. Unless you got a huge bunch of people you're bringing into Discord with you, it's very hard to grow, because you got to have 1,000 people just to get a public notice on Discord. Now, obviously, if you have the ability to crack that, you get that number. I don't know how you would do it unless you're bringing people in from outside. And we might be able to do that with FeedSpot in a month. Who knows? We'll see. Their claim, what they do. I know what they do because I've been sitting on it for a year, and I know how it works, and I can see how you would get people from it. People like to read. If they like to read articles or watch videos, and I'm going to use, actually, you know what? I just totally, I don't know, man. I get confused sometimes. I was going to use something different for that. I remember now. I was going to use. I don't even want to get into that. I'll figure that out later. But yeah, I mean, if you're able to get in there and get your like a website or something, then you can get people. Hopefully, I mean, but we won't know until we try it. But hopefully, we will. Um, but there just isn't a whole lot. I mean, the problem is that before COVID, the, the world was a different world, and for a lot of reasons, COVID changed the world for the worse. I mean, it was the shutdowns, the way that it was. It was probably. I'm not a conspiracist like some people. Some people think it was all a conspiracy. I think there was a lot of conspiracy and there was a lot of wrong things. I think that the way that they were shutting you know schools down and things, it was wrong. And I think it actually you know if you have a bad flu, let's say you have a really bad the swan flu or a really bad the swine flu swine. Oh man. But let's say you had a really bad flu. I mean, it could do the same thing. COVID was just a really bad flu, but we panicked because of the way that it was spreading. And it was a very, it was a respiratory flu. So people that had older people and stuff, they were very susceptible to it. And it did kill a lot of people. I mean, there's no denying it. But because we didn't know what it was, we didn't know how to handle it, we mistreated it. We should have let it, like normally, you just let a cold or a flu run its course and natural immunity and everything, and it wipes it out. But because we were shutting down the natural immunity by masking and shutting people in and 6 foot distancing, and they all now say that was all wrong. They shouldn't have done that. All the other, they weren't listening to all the doctors. They were only listening to the ones they wanted to, and then they saw an opportunity to use it to politicize it, if you can believe that, to politicize a disease. And they did. And without a doubt, they were singling out churches. Oh, you can't get together in your church because you sing and you breathe on each other more than. What about strip clubs and bars? You were keeping them open. So it was obviously became political. They used it to try to shut down the Christians in the church. I do believe they did that. That was pretty much um, a well-known fact. But what it did to the technological world was even weirder because all of a sudden people were not social distancing. They weren't going to church. So they were coming online and they were doing these Zoom meetings. I believe Zoom ruined the technological world. That's my opinion. Zoom is, I hate Zoom. I've tried to use it. It's the worst. I never liked it. But I'm not talking about even just the Zoom, the app. I'm talking about the concept of video chatting, which we thought was going to boost everything that we were doing. We thought, oh, wow, we're going to really take advantage of this. Zoom, Zoom. Yeah, there you go. But it had the opposite effect because people got so sick of being shut in and having to go on these stupid video calls, they didn't want to do it anymore. And so here we are saying, doing the same thing we've done for the last 10 years. Come on a video chat with us and have a Bible. They're like, no, no, no thanks. I don't want anything to do with that. So it actually hurt us, but it was effective for about a year. And then everybody got burned out on it. And I understand that. They wanted to be together. They wanted to have church in their own place. I get it. But I didn't think it would have the negative impact that it did on us. And it did. It hurt us. I don't think we've ever recovered from that. And I mean, so, but it hurt that kind of chat altogether. But what's bringing it back is the podcast dimension. It's very popular. Podcasts like the Rogan podcast, all these I don't listen to any of that stuff. But there's a lot of podcasts. Everybody has a podcast. I call them vodcasts because they're video casts. They're not just audio anymore, like what we're doing. But that is actually popular, and the chat that goes with that is very popular. And of course, you have Twitter and all of that and Facebook. That's still, you know, a form of chat. I don't think it's not real time, not like what we do. But all of a sudden now there's this people are starting to get back into the forums again. People want to talk, they want to discuss things. And so it's starting to get popular again. And this is why I think we need to have forums. That's what I said. And have a forum where people can come and talk and share and whatever. I watched a video that I did on I think it was Facebook Live. It was during COVID, so it must have been around 2020. And I had like 50 people in there, and people were talking. They were asking for prayer. They wanted prayer for people that were sick with COVID. It was during COVID, so it was when everybody was online and everybody was buzzing about it and talking about it. And I couldn't believe we had that many people in that. And I was like, is this our podcast? Or is this somebody else's? I mean, I had to do a double take on that. And but that's starting to come back. Is people are getting tired of TikTok. TikTok is like good for like it's like eating cotton candy. If you eat too much of it, you don't want it anymore. Like, is that possible? I don't know. Cotton candy's pretty good. Of course, I don't eat it anymore. Haven't ate that stuff since I was a kid. Or anything, ice cream or whatever you like, Cheetos, whatever. What do you snack on? All right. So whatever you snack on the most, if you eat too much of it, I don't care how good it is, you don't want it anymore. And so people are kind of their brains are starting to turn to mush because they're sitting for hours watching TikTok videos. There you go. Somebody has to do. There you go. So you watch these TikTok videos and they're funny, and some of them, I think, to be honest with you, some of these people are better. They're better than any of the Hollywood movies and shows. By far, they're more clever. These little short videos and stuff that people do, and they get a following, they get 1 million people watching them. I don't mind some of that. Some of that's okay, and I share some of them on my Facebook and stuff. There's a lot of good Christian ones. But the point is, even that gets old, and people want more substantive conversations. They want to talk. Things are going on in the world. You don't want to go watch a TikTok video. You want to get information. You want to get news. What's happening? And so that's why I think the direction we're going in will eventually start kicking in. But people got to find out about us. They got to find out what we're doing and how we're doing it. We're doing the right things. We need to get visibility so people can see what we're doing. There's people that would want to join what we're doing. It's not that we don't have. I don't think it's not a content issue because we're bringing the word of God. Now you can't get any better than that. I don't know how you could get better than that, and I would never change that. I'm going to bring the word. I'm going to bring what I feel like the Lord is saying for this hour. And I know there's a lot of podcasts out there right now, so it's like, how do you choose the one you want to watch? But there will be people that will want to watch it. I believe that because the Lord knows that it's His word. If it's His word, then He said it will do what He's called it to do. Where He sends it, it will thrive. So I've never had to worry about that or even think about that. I always just figured if I shared what God wanted me to share, somebody was going to pick up on it and receive it. But I do think that we have to figure out the best way to get it out there. And I mean, we're doing good things. One of the things that we've never done a very good job of, and I will admit it, is YouTube. We suck at YouTube. We just face it. We are horrible at YouTube. I mean, I've had 36 members for like 5 years. There's grandmas out there that, you know, all they do is talk about their little dog and they get 1 million views, dudes. And we, but the problem is we don't do anything. You gotta, we gotta work it. So if anybody knows anyone that's good with YouTube, let me know. I would gladly hand this YouTube channel over to them to make it work. You can hire people, but it's costly. But there is a program that I've looked into. It's not that much. And what they do is they do the whole thing where they take your video and they put it in a suggested genre and you get views. And you got to start somewhere. And if you just start with some views, and then I did some research on it, and it's all about keywords, learning how to put the right keywords in. You know, you got to kind of invest in it, and it's like I don't have time to do that. That's really the main reason that I've not really done well with YouTube. I haven't really tried, but I do think that YouTube has the most draw of people that watch the kind of stuff that we do. We could find an audience for what we do on YouTube without a doubt, but you got to know how to start it out. You got to have, and then I think you got to get kind of lucky too, because I don't think there's a real formula with any of this stuff. I mean, I've seen people that all they do is yell at people and they get 1 million views. I mean, I could do that. Or, you get somebody go out in the woods and build a log cabin. And I enjoy watching those videos. I mean, and they get a huge following. People working on cars. It's just that we're such a niche. What we do is such a niche that you're not going to get a huge following, even if you had all the money and people helping you. It's the content that we're putting out. It's only going to appeal to a very small percentage of people. However, God can anoint something and he can make it. I've seen it happen where people they they connect to something, and a good story, or you could. One thing that I did early on, and when I was in the ministry early on, is I had gone to the local cable television station in my town where our church was. I was pastoring a church, and I would have guests come in and I would interview them. And I had a guy that was a Satanist. He was in one of those Satan rock bands back in the 80s. And he got saved, and he had like tattoos and earrings, and he got saved, and he wrote a book about Satan and how Satan influences music and stuff. So I came in, I interviewed him, and it was around Halloween. It was like they had so many people that watched that on the local cable, and the local cable was one of them, weird channels that nobody ever watched. That they said that we had more people than on our show than they've ever had, and they wanted to know if I had more videos. And so I started doing these shows where I would have people come in and I would interview them. And that was the best thing I ever did. And you can find that. You can find people. You just got to get on the web and find them and interview people. I've always wanted to do that. And now we have the technology where you can have another guest come in and interview them. I think that would draw people. We also wanted, I'm trying to get Andrew to go out with me and do live evangelism where you use your phone and you go out and ask people questions on the streets. Do you believe in Jesus or whatever? And just ask them questions and then have somebody recording it and put it live on a channel. Well, that kind of stuff draws people's attention because it is interesting, and then you're going to get raw footage of people's responses, not something scripted or put on. Just this is what they believe, and you're going to find all kinds of different beliefs and what people believe. It's a very, I think that could be something that could be. But if you're going to put a channel out, you you got to think about stuff that you could do, to get people to come to the channel. And I think if you did stuff like that, it would draw people. But I don't know. God can take anything and make it work. We just need to pray. We need to continue to figure it out. But even if we just, you know, did something with the YouTube to get more people, even if we just started getting random people, maybe 5, 10 people a month, I mean, that would be better than what we're doing. And that could be helpful. So let's see what we can do with that as well. One thing I will say, and I don't want to keep you guys any longer tonight, but what I decided to do was I'm doing Prayer for America, which this is something that I'm doing. It's kind of extra. It's not going to be on Discord or anything. We could actually put the videos on Discord, no problem. But I'm actually using Facebook group for it because I already have a group that has. I think in total there's like, I don't know, 2 or 3 groups that I have. Probably over maybe 400 people. But I don't always do things in the groups. It's kind of like you start a group and then it dies out. But I had this one group and I just changed the name and the description and everything today. And I'm going to do my live prayer for America on there because I can go live on my phone on Facebook. And I have more opportunity to get people that way to come to the prayer. And hopefully we can get some people from that. And then if they start coming in for that, then obviously the natural thing would be to get them to come over to Discord, and that could be a way for us to get some people from there as well. Now, if you guys have ideas or something comes to you or you would like to do something, I don't know. I'm just putting this out there. Maybe you have friends or family members that you're trying to reach or whatever, and you have ideas. I mean, we can do events. We can do a movie night. You can invite them to a movie. You can invite them to something. I want us to think out of the box. We're evangelistic ministry. We want to reach people that aren't saved. Our families, we all have family members. Now, sometimes it's hard to get people online to come online, if you know what I'm saying. You could invite people till they're blue in the face, and then I do that with my family. That's why I'm going to Facebook because that's where they are, so I can reach out directly to them. Now, I have a sister that she is one of those people that really is into what's going on with the politics and the election, and she's very zeroed in on it. And that's kind of what Revolution 24 prayer chat is. It's going to be more like we're going to pray for America 1 hour a day. People can come in and pray. If you're wanting to and you're not on Facebook or whatever, don't worry about it. But you would come in and pray, and then we're going to be sharing all kinds of things leading up to November, which is when we need to vote. But it looks like Biden is blown up. His brain blew up. I'm sorry to say, he's in bad shape. Well, we already knew it, and they're hiding it. It's the biggest cover up, they say, in presidential history. They've covered up for him. They knew he was not cognitive, and it is nasty stuff. So the crime is the cover up is worse than the crime. There's going to be a lot of people that are going to go down for this. What they've done to them, because if he's not capable of being commander in chief, that affects everybody in this nation. And if other nations know he's not running the show and he's not there, guess what they're going to want to do? You don't think we have enemies out there that would like to wipe us off the map? This is serious stuff. So, this election coming up is serious. Just to have somebody in there that's cognitive, that can think. And so, anyway, Trump is doing really good. His numbers are, it's amazing to me. Everything is turned. His court cases went away. He's he's up in states he's never been even close to being up on. Now, that doesn't mean he's going to win, because, the Democrats are great at cheating, and they'll do anything to win. They're dishonest. More than likely, they're going to try something. But keep it all in prayer, because our nation is at stake. And I said it before, we either have revival or judgment, and that's where we're at. So tomorrow night, we'll come back on here. We'll do the Bible study, and we're going to continue with these things. I threw a lot at you tonight, but I just try to keep you up on what's going on, and just keep praying. I feel like I keep saying every week, I feel like we're on the verge, and that's a good thing, because I didn't always feel that way. I think sometimes we just kind of, we don't really have any direction or vision. We're just kind of going along and hoping something happens. I feel like we're in a better place now. We have more of a vision, more of an understanding. But we got to stick with it, and we got to keep putting out there the Word. The Word of God is what's going to change people's lives. And we need to get where the sinners are, where the unsaved people are, and get the Word into their hands where they can get saved. That's why we're doing this. And if we're not doing that, we're missing the mark. And so hopefully and prayerfully we can find those people. But, we keep looking, we keep searching until we find good sites, good places to go. But let's keep it up. And we'll see you guys tomorrow night on Discord here, 9 o'clock. Go have some cotton candy and and we'll see you guys on the flip side. There you go. That's a good note, Dan, man. All right. Yeah. Don't forget, too, by the way, now that we're on Discord regularly, we have the prayer channel. Feel free to use it whenever you want if you have prayer needs, because we are going to put the prayer list in there and keep praying Friday nights as we have been. God's answering prayers left and right. And, it's a direct result. It's not coincidence. You pray for something, you get an answer. You thank God for it. But if you're praying for things in your life and God's doing it, answer, then thank Him for it. But tomorrow night we'll do the Bible study. Friday night we'll come back for prayer. We'll keep it up. God bless you guys. We'll see you.